Hey guys, it's John McNamara, host, Ron in Vegas. We're talking local sports, business, real estate. If you guys like what you see today, follow us, subscribe on Ron in Vegas podcast. And today, we got a special guest.
Ooh, special guest.
Mr. Shaun Marion, local real estate agent in the house.
What's up, John? How you doing?
Good, dude.
Good, man.
Thank you for being on.
It's an honor and a privilege.
Yeah, we've known each other for a while.
It's been a while. I was trying to think about like how far back it's gone. It's probably a good, 10 years?
I think, yeah,
probably in that
around
ballpark.
that, a good 10 years.
Yeah.
So, and we catch up probably about once a year.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, whenever we see each other.
Yeah, so I'm excited to hear about all the new stuff in the last 5 years.
We'll see. Hey,
we used to work at the same brokerage.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
yeah. So that's all good.
Let's get a little background on you.
Sure.
Your story, where you're from, how'd you get into the real estate industry?
You got it, man. Let's do it. So yeah, I've been lived in Vegas. I've been now here for 43 years. So pretty much grew up here. Moved here from Dallas, Texas when I was a little kid, 9 years old. Finished up elementary school, middle school. Just saw my middle school, Garside Junior High, is being torn down. That's how long you know when you've been in town for a long time, when your schools are starting to get torn down. And then, Bonanza High School, and then, did a little UNLV, UNR, back and forth. But Vegas has been home. It's home, still is home, and love it here. And
Cool.
Real estate was always kind of in the back of my mind. My mom actually, when you see people flipping homes now, she was doing that in the early 80s here.
Oh, wow.
Buying houses on the courthouse steps, cash. I mean, I'd have to ask her, probably paying, $10,000 for homes, something like that. But I remember being inside of those houses.
Was that 2009?
Yes, exactly, right. Yeah, could equate. The numbers were about the same. But yeah, so that was always there. And believe it or not, I went into school at UNLV with a finance major, and the University of Nevada school system, the university system, offered a real estate minor. Now look, I never did anything with my college. I didn't even get a degree. I just couldn't figure it out. It is what it is. But my now ex-wife, actually, I knew her for quite a while. She had her real estate license, and I didn't know you could just go to a real estate school and get your license. So I came back from Reno for my second time of not really making any progress in college. And went to real estate school, got my license, and just started building the business. So it's been 27 years.
I saw that.
Yeah,
man,
crazy, man. It's like
super
that.
experience. I love it.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like I'm proud of the time I've spent in the business. I've seen so much and done a lot. And it's like one of those things you gotta be cautious of, like, hey, 27 years, I know what. We're learning stuff every day still,
Especially with AI today.
for sure. I mean, just everything, even the deals we learn new things. So
Yep.
I'm proud of the time I've been in the business, and know that there's still a lot to do.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's what I've always liked about you, because you've been in the business 27 years. I've been in the business 20 years. But
Yeah.
something about you is, like, you've always had and I mean this in like a good way, like a young energy about you.
Yeah.
Right? Where you're very growth minded, which I appreciate, because I'm the same way.
Sure.
Because this business, there's not like it's cool to have somebody who has a little bit more experience than me.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of us.
there's not.
I'm 42, but I've been in this 20 years. But I feel like a dinosaur in real estate.
100%. Yeah, when you talk to people and there's people doing big things that have been licensed very short periods of time. The way that the industry is, how much you can be educated and be taught. We learned a lot when we were brand new in the business, but you were taught pretty basic standard ways of doing business. And now it's basically you can be taught how to ramp up and go from 5 deals to 500 deals in a few years. We watch it happen all the time.
Yeah.
So I know that, there's a lot of different ways, and that is why I do love this industry too.
Yeah.
Just because it can be reinvented, believe it or not. There's not just one way of doing it.
Well, when you and I got in the business, if you did like 40, 60 deals, you you were like 0.01% top producing agent in the business.
For sure.
And now it's like you do 1,000 deals, you're 0.01%.
Yeah, exactly right.
There's a whole, there's systems, there's marketing, there's branding, and it
Yeah.
just keeps evolving and
Most
it keeps
definitely.
moving in that direction. So,
well, and the thing about, when I started, probably when you started, teams weren't really much of a thing.
Right.
Real estate teams are the big thing these days, and learning by being on a team. I mean, I was fortunate enough. I had some great mentors early on in the business, but there wasn't that team mentality. I would work for some top agents, or basically by doing some work in their office, but I was never part of their team. And now I would suggest anybody getting into this industry, join a team, get right on a team, because what you're going to learn, how quickly you'll learn and how quickly you'll get moving in this business.
Yeah.
I have been in the management side of real estate for the last 8 years, actually would be this month, but stepped away from that. But watching on the management side and watching agents come into this full of energy, full of excitement, and then less than a year later out of the business, it's tough, because I know what that piece of paper, that real estate license, what it can do for someone if they're willing to push through all the crap you have to push through to get there.
yeah, I think you get some really good advice, because as you know, it's 96% of people are out of the business in the first 18 months.
Yeah, it's
and I
crazy.
agree with you, because I think you and I have a very similar philosophy. Is I would recommend, not necessarily our team, but interview teams.
Yeah.
And see what's a good fit for you. That is a great way to break into the business, because unfortunately,
Sure.
a lot of brokerages now, they don't have the resources or the money for the training anymore. It's gone away.
Yeah, for
when
sure.
I got into business, there was a whole training program, and there's a prospecting room.
Yeah.
But the brokerages would take 50%, and then nobody talked about it.
It was the norm.
was the
you
norm.
signed up and you were okay, and it's amazing to me. I mean, again, when I was interviewing, running the brokerage, my job was to grow the office. I was meeting with new agents, and early on it was easy, and it wasn't 50-50 splits, but it was still decent sized splits, and agents didn't question it. And now it's like their whole thing is, what do you charge? What do you charge? Instead of, well, what about that? The information I just gave you and the value that I'm showing you, but so many agents get wrapped up into the cost.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And what is it cost? It means nothing if you're not in the business in a year. Yeah.
Absolutely, you need to learn, and it takes you at least 2 years just to kind of get good at it.
For sure, most definitely.
So, and that's always once. Like, I know when I'm interviewing agents for our team, the biggest red flag for me is, hey, what are the costs? Because I already know they're probably not growth minded.
Right, exactly right. They're not looking at what am I going to get by being on the team, how quickly am I going to get it into production.
Right.
They're totally focused, because when they close that first deal and they get that first commission check, the first thing they're going to start doing is like, how come I'm only getting this, instead of, wow, look what I just learned. Look at the support I got from the team. I probably wouldn't have had that deal without being on the team, but their mind doesn't go there.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating, but again, that's why it's about the individual. And like I said, love that you take your time with your interview process.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you've got the right people on your team, for sure.
Absolutely, yeah, it's about quality versus quantity.
Most definitely.
Most important question, though, I can ask you.
Let's go.
This entire pot.
Okay, let's go.
Are you a UNLV guy or are you a UNR guy?
It's funny, I'm a UNLV guy, and it was.
This pod was about to end.
Yeah, no, I know what this is called. I know where I'm at. It's funny, definitely was, I was a, Wolfpack fan back in the day, going up to school, and of course, back when UNLV football wasn't a whole lot in that, mid '90s time frame, UNR was doing pretty good, but always have been that UNLV, running Rebel fan. And it's always a great thing to follow them and watch them, when they can figure something out and do some good stuff.
Right.
But
the last 2 years has been good with football.
Yes, exactly right. I mean, watching their, watching this whole city evolve has been awesome, and I think giving the football team an amazing field to play on.
Yeah.
The going out to the Silver Bowl all those years.
I miss it.
Look, it was a blast. It was so much fun. I mean, if you went out and made sure that you were going to a game, going to the tailgate, it was fun.
Tailgate was fun.
It was.
Tailgate's changed when you're chilling at Mandalay.
Yeah, exactly right. 100% different. Yeah,
you're seeing all the drunks walk by.
Exactly. But giving them an ability to have a better recruiting class and everything else when you have a cathedral that you're playing in, compared has been awesome. So
yeah, I really invest in the program. I kind of joke because I root for UNR as long as they're not playing us.
100. Yeah, right.
My wife actually went there. So
okay. There you go.
And it's cool too because I don't know if you know this, they're building a new arena for Reno. So that's going to be, I think, in 2 years.
Oh wow, I actually didn't know that.
GSR, is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they're going to have another tower.
That's right. I did. Okay,
it just got approved.
Very cool.
And they have a new practice facility for football.
Awesome.
So that program's.
It'll.
I think it's funny how like the Reno and the UNLV. Like I kid about it.
Yeah.
I actually think it's good for both programs to continue to grow.
Most definitely. And I think actually a lot of the attention has come to UNLV lately, and has kind of fallen off of UNR a little bit. And they've always been back in the Chris Alt days and everything when they were just a powerhouse.
Yeah.
It's good to see. I want to see them both get back into contention. It'll be awesome.
I miss the rivalry, right?
Oh, 100%. It was huge. The Cannon was awesome.
Yeah. 'Cause when I came out, because I've been here for 17 years, not even close with how long you've been there, but it was switched, right? It was UNLV football would get destroyed Reno every year,
exactly
and then
right.
basketball we would win, and then Reno didn't have a very good program.
Yeah.
Now it's reversed.
100%. It is.
It's the basketball program.
It's crazy.
We have the football program.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get basketball, because I think we're a basketball town at the end of it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me that we have an NFL team, a hockey team, and we don't have a good college basketball or it could be.
Yeah, it can be.
But we have a lot of basketball fans in this town, and it's crazy that it hasn't really been taken advantage of.
No, I know the town's fighting to get it. I know it's going to happen soon. I think that obviously a pro team coming, an NBA team here will even drive the college aspect, I think, in a big way. I love that. Going back to a little bit, I love the fact that, the short period of time, 17 years, or 20, how long you've been here? 17 years. Man, you treat this like it's your hometown. I love that. I know you're a back east kid, but I love that people embrace this city as their own. It's what I love about it. But watching what this city has become, even the time that you've been here, it's amazing. I've always been a fan of this city. I love it to death, and it's funny because I just never saw anything other than maybe the NFL working here team-wise.
Yeah.
I just saw, we watched UNLV go from the powerhouse in the 90s, and then when they fell off a little bit, Thomas and Mack would empty out, and that kind of thing. And then we'd, pick it back up in the late 90s, early 2000s, it would fill up and then it would empty out again. I was like, this transient town just can't keep supporting a team, what's going to work? A team that plays a game every 2 weeks in town, for 8 total home games. But you know what? Bill Foley just said, screw that. I'm going to prove to you that NHL can work here. And so that's completely obviously changed this city.
Yeah, and it totally did.
Yeah.
And it gave us, we're lucky hockey was the first. Yeah. Because I don't know if hockey would have worked out if it didn't go the way it
100%.
If it wasn't the first franchise and then October 1st happened. And because before that, like you said, transient town, and there was a big switch in our community where we started talking to each other, and the total community, and we rallied around the Knights, and we started all talking about Knights with each other.
Oh my gosh.
But it's funny how sports can bring a community together, because before that there wasn't, if UNLV wasn't good, nobody was talking to each other.
We had nothing to talk about.
Yeah, I'm a Celtics fan, you're a Dodgers fan, whatever it is, right? We're all over the place. So
you're shooting for something to find a common ground sports wise. But I loved hockey. Again, I was here in the 90s when the Thunder were here, and a friend of mine had season tickets, and I was like, what the hell is hockey? And it was awesome just to go to the Thomas and Mack and watch that, but that was short-lived. And but to see it, and it has just completely changed this city. It's crazy. It's crazy what sports can do.
Yeah, the city's continuing to grow, and I always felt probably like you. I'm like, it's gonna work here.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing was always, and it was always a shock because we got so much pushback, right, from national, like Vegas is never gonna work.
Yeah, no way.
And it was always in the back of my head, like, because as you know, right, whatever your team is, right,
Yeah.
you always look for that one away game
Yeah.
to go to.
Oh, sure, for sure.
And what game, if you're NFL, NHL, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and you see Vegas on the schedule,
They're showing up.
what game are you going
yeah.
to? Because Vegas isn't cheap anymore.
No, it's not. No.
But back in the day, it was cheap. But either way, it's probably cheaper than going other places.
Oh,
but
no,
you
so
come to
fun.
here, you party, you go to a Raiders game, it's like
Man.
60-40 Raider fans.
Yeah.
We have a lot more like away fans now for Knights games. Not in the
most
beginning. They
definitely.
had like a policy against in the beginning.
Yeah.
But
Well, you get a show though. I mean, you can the
it's
show
different.
the show. Oh yeah. I mean, you say it is you listen to the commentators on the hockey games, and they're like, there is no place in this country and in Canada obviously too that puts on a show like Vegas does for NHL. You know, it's just insane, and people show up for that. So it's
Same with
awesome.
Raiders. They have like a
Yeah.
rock concert at
Yeah.
halftime. It's
You got a DJ playing. You got DJs up in the booth. You got the whole thing going on.
If you're just like the average Joe fan, it's great.
Yeah.
Like if you're like I'm a football enthusiast, so I went to like a Broncos game with my brother a couple of years back, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I miss just the old school football, hot dog,
Right.
and like
Yeah.
Sam Boyd Stadium.
Yeah.
But it's evolved, and I think in a good
100%.
way. I think
Yeah.
in a good way.
Most definitely, it is.
Yeah.
Well, again, it gets more people attracted to it, and it's something that we're a show city. We're all about that, so we're always going to add the showmanship to it, no
sure.
matter what. Yeah.
So let's get back into real estate.
Let's do it.
You were in management for 8 years.
I was.
And now you're back in production.
I am.
Tell us a little bit about that, because management leadership is super tough. It's a totally different animal versus being an agent in production.
Most definitely.
So give me the good, the bad, the whatever you want to talk about.
It was an opportunity that was afforded to me by the owners of our company. I was, again, at the time, licensed for, 18 years, something along those lines, 19 years. And I was, approached by my owner to say, hey, would you like this opportunity? And I think I was just looking for something different. Had come out of a pretty solid producing team that I had, and was looking to continue growing. Full transparency. Went through a divorce, which was not easy, and I think it was just looking for what's that next step. And again, I wasn't going to be outside of real estate, so I took this on, and I took it on selfishly. To be honest, it was like, what can I get out of this? How can I increase my skills as a leader? How can I increase my skills in the real estate industry? And it was with Keller Williams, which even at the time was the largest real estate company in the world, basically. And when you have a group of leaders and the ownership of everything of this company that pours into the people that are managing their individual offices. So I came into it to learn, and it was I learned a ton. It was a great run. The job of running a Keller Williams brokerage is growth. I mean, we all know you're running a team, you're running a brokerage, whether it's Keller Williams or it's all about growth, whether you're growing with agents, your business, your production, whatever that looks like. So, but it was managing staff, it was knowing the finances of a brokerage. I mean, my job was basically running 150 to 200 agent team, because that's what my job was. And so I got to know the finances of how a brokerage works. I got to know the ins and outs, money wise, and talking to agents, and I got to coach agents. I mean, you were one of them, just to have good coaching conversations, business conversations with amazing agents was super valuable. And I got to do that with agents throughout the whole Southwest region and things along those lines. Really ran it, obviously went through COVID through this, and through different leadership within our region, because the people that are leading us changed. and that would kind of reinvigorate me. There were a handful of times I had my foot out the door, the management side. I'm like, just get me back into sales. You know, I don't have dealing with agents. Look, we're agents, but agents are babies. That's just the way, this is the way it is.
Big egos.
Yeah, when you're babysitting them, and when agents are not employees, so it's making sure that our agents are happy, because all I have to do is walk in and say, hey, I'm out. You know, I'm going somewhere else where I think I'll be happier or make more money. So it was just a constant. You know, it's constantly, how can I make this brokerage better? But I learned a ton from it, and I loved every moment that I had in it in terms of what I got out of it. But again, some certain things kept me coming back in. I would toe out, reel back in a little bit, and about a little less than a year ago, I made the true conscious decision. I'm out. I'm ready to be done, but again, have a lot of ties to my brokerage, love the ownership, and I wasn't just going to leave them in the lurch. So gave notice, but I said, take your time, find my replacement. It's not something you just go walk off the street and go find someone, and hopefully, and we actually went through a couple of people that didn't quite work out. And finally, we found a great replacement, and it's actually an agent that was in our office. And so it's been great, but you know what? I miss sales. I miss selling real estate. I miss it every day, and I do miss the freedom. You know, I wasn't, locked into my office, as the team leader or manager of the office, but at the same point, I treated it as a job. You know, I was at the office, between 7 and 8 every day. I would usually not leave until, after 5 o'clock. So I treated it as such. I wasn't going to take advantage of the role. And so that was tough when you're a real estate agent, even though I treat real estate as a job. That flexibility, just when you're used to it, it's tough to give that up and not have it. So, man, it's been great. It's been really about 3-4 months since I've fully been back into the sales side. Everybody's asking, all right, you're growing your team. What are you doing? Everything you've learned. And right now, I've been kind of enjoying the first few months of getting back into it. I've got some pretty decent goals for this year. And at the same point, there are goals that I feel I can do on my own without jumping really back into growing a team just yet. It will be something that'll be on the horizon. But right now, let's sell some real estate. Let's get back into it. Let's rebuild some systems and see where this year goes. So it's been awesome.
Nice. Yeah, it was, our story is not too dissimilar, because when you became team lead, I was kind of going through the same thing too. Of, I've been doing this for a while. Ready to mix it up. I almost became a real estate coach for a company. And I decided I still want to really go hard in sales, and decided to make the decision to build a team.
There you go.
And I didn't have a team of 200, 250, but it got up to like 10.
Oh,
and
my gosh, man.
Just
you were
everything
hustling.
you're saying, it came to light. It was like, there was less freedom. Your ego get hit. You get humbled. Through leadership, because it's a completely different set of skills.
Most definitely.
Than going and selling and buying real estate. But I think, for at least for myself, I was definitely ignorant in the beginning of it. Like, I'm good at selling real estate. I'll be a great team lead.
Come on, everybody come work for me. It's all good.
Which was good. The enthusiasm was good, because I was recruiting everybody.
You were.
But it took me probably a good 5 years to really hone in the leadership skills. And it's just, leadership is just one of those things you have to constantly work on, because it's like top end accountability, having a great mindset, showing, being accountable, showing up on time.
Exactly right.
You can't just
even when you
get
don't
through
feel,
the day anymore.
Even when you don't feel like it, you have to show up. You're the guy in charge, and they look to you, and the agents are looking to you, and so it's exactly right. I mean, it's not always the easiest road to go, but there's you get a lot of fulfillment out of it. But I've watched you. I've watched your evolution. I've watched you, like you said, you had a big team at once. You guys were humming, and then look, it's people get. The agents on your teams get egos. They're like, well, what do I need John anymore for?
Right.
What do he's taught me what I need to know. Let me go off, and they figure out very quickly, typically, how they had it pretty good. And then they usually don't have the balls to come back and say, hey, I was wrong. They don't, even though they should, because they
some did, and we had some good runs.
Yeah, I know it was, but it's been, watching you kind of become more of a quality over quantity has been awesome, because, like you said, you're going to. you have to choose what's going to be your fight every day,
Yeah.
And that's the side of it too. It's like selling real estate is, like I said, it's enjoyable. It can be, and again, coming back into it, even in a very short period of time, it's fun. It really is. It's not hard. I think agents make it hard, and I understand the hard part is the lead generation and finding business, especially if you're new. Right. And at the same point, once you've got it and you've create great relationships, man, it's easy because you're helping people out, and I'm not gonna lie, you make a great amount of money doing it. Yeah. And there's a lot that comes with that, and the freedom that does come with it. And so I'm looking forward to it. You said earlier, I appreciate you mentioning, look, I'm 52 years old, but I'm always gonna lead with good younger energy, because that's a number, and I like to have way too much fun to act like I'm what 52 used to be maybe 20, 30 years ago. So it's like I've got a lot of time still in this business, and I want to find out where it is that I want to go, and that's what I think this year is going to figure out for me big time.
Good. So what, if you don't mind sharing, what are those goals for 2025, 2026?
Yeah, right now, I mean, coming into it, and again, I'm not going to make excuses in any way. My goal when I was looking at coming out of leadership last year, when I had given my notice and was expecting around November, December to really hit the ground running and make things happen, and then kind of got reeled back in a little bit. It delayed that, but my goal was to get back up to about 30 transactions this year. I mean, running my brokerage, I was still on average selling, on about 12 homes a year is probably an average. There was one year I think I sold, with some assistance, with some showing assistance, always have a transaction coordinator, things like that. I think I sold like 17, 18 homes, running a brokerage full time and not really being out in the field. And, and again, being in the industry as long, I'm not tooting a horn, but you build relationships, you have great referral partners in business coming in. So I was able to have that. So I know that getting back to, 30 units with adding some very specific systems and being in the field every single day is not impossible. Yeah. And so, and that again gets me back to a point of replacing a salary, because I was a salaried employee. Yeah. So I'm replacing that and coming back into, increasing that commission base right there. And so that gives me, and I can do that without necessarily working 60 hours a week. It's, again, I'm not quite there on terms of my average closings since I've been in for the last, say, 3 months full time, but I'm close. And I'm doing it with, again, treating it like a job, showing up to the office every day. But at the same point, if I decide to maybe leave at 2 p.m. or go have some lunch with some friends or go have, or do something, it's not a 9 to 5, here you go, So I've been enjoying the freedom and flexibility as well as the growth side of it. So it's pretty exciting.
That's great.
Yeah, moving forward, let's see, I think if I really get to a point of hitting those numbers this year, then more than likely with that growth, it's going to be, it's going to either be adding to the team, something along those lines, or do I look at what can I really do to increase my baseline sales price? How do I increase my my net sales price to where I can sell the same amount of homes and make more money, but not taking really more time. Yeah. So looking at different things. Again, this is where I'm looking at what can I learn this year that I don't know, and I know there's a ton out there. Trust me, it's not like I have to go figure that out. But what do I want to specifically learn that I maybe don't know from my years in the business that I can learn from others? And that's where I'm kind of on that journey right now of having a lot of great conversations, talking to a lot of great agents, both here and around the country and things like that. So that's been kind of exciting as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's good that you're taking that time for yourself to see what does make sense. Yeah. Because if it doesn't, it's never going to work. But if you find something that clicks, double down on that.
What's going to get me excited?
More than capable of that.
What's going to make it? What's going to get me excited to come to work every day? Yeah. What's going to? It's yes, I love selling real estate, but what different can I do? Yeah. How can I tweak what I do on a daily basis to say, all right, I'm getting up and going to work today, and I'm pumped about it, and I'm pumped about who I get to help. So I'm excited about that. For
Cool,
sure.
man. Well, I'm excited for you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, besides real estate, what do you do for fun?
Man, fun is I'm all over the place, but like I know, like you're, man, music is life. I love music. You know, it's my, you know, I'm fortunate. My wife now is my best friend, and her and I, when we do things, you know, we do things together, and it's awesome. But we love to travel. We love to travel for music. You know, I know you do this. I loved your guys' pod about music festivals and things like that. We're pretty regulars to those. You know, love to take advantage of what this city has to offer, and spend a lot of time downtown in the arts district, things like that. But you know, it's really like, hey, what's that next you know, adventure we can go on, whether it's here in town or somewhere out of town. We literally like, hey, let's go to Mexico, you know, over July 4th weekend last week. So that's in the works, you know. So
you got to keep it fun, right? Because we work hard, and you got to have those goals so you can keep, you know, keep it going. So
you have to, man.
So hey, thank you for being on.
Dude,
Pleasure having you on.
That time went flew, man.
You did. Good job. And I'm super excited you get it back into production. If you guys are looking for a great agent, Shaun Marion, hit this man up. This is Running Vegas, guys. Take care of yourselves today.
Thanks.